Welcome back to Phoenix Wright, Ace Attorney. Last time we got to a break in the trial, and I think we'd just been called back into it in the 4th episode. Let's start the game back up and carry on. Someone's got the TV on in the other room. Hopefully that's not audible. Unfortunately, someone is here today. So hopefully that won't cause a problem. Not in the room. In a different room. Just go back into it. March 23rd, 2:35 p.m., District Court, Courtroom number 3. Court will now reconvene. I assume both sides are ready? Yes, Your Honor. Yes, Your Honor. I can understand the defense acting like this. However, why do you also seem distraught, Mr. Edgeworth? It's nothing, Your Honor. What's wrong with Edgeworth? It looks like something unexpected just happened to him. Now then, Mr. Edgeworth, if you could please tell the court the results of the handwriting analysis on Miss Impact's suicide note. Yes, Your Honor. Unfortunately, we have discovered that this suicide note is a forgery. What? What do you mean, Mr. Edgeworth? This note was not written by Miss Impax herself. It is a fake. Ooh. That definitely gives us a bit more time. Order, order, order! Mr. Edgeworth, would you care to explain what is going on? If this was not written by Miss Impax, then who wrote it? We would need more time to do a more detailed analysis. However, it appears that the handwriting matches that of the victim, Mr. Wongorda. Mr. Corda? Well. Looks like Miss Impax never left a suicide note after all. She never wrote anything about On Guard. However, Your Honor, even though this suicide note is indeed a fake, Mr. On Guard could not have known that, and so that facts remain unchanged. Those facts, perhaps? That fact, singular? Acting under the assumption it was real, he had plotted to possess it. That does sound very plausible. This theory that On Guard had no idea that the suicide note was fake. Something seems a little wrong with it. Evidence. I just got back to this. And I didn't think to watch over the last VOD to see what was going on. Let's see. Evidence that he would have known it to be fake. Cameras, I suppose. The defense believes that the theory the prosecution has stated contradicts testimony. If everything the prosecution has proven up to this point is true, and it's impossible for Mr. On Guard to not have known that it was a fake. one covers the specific time that one was running. Maybe. What is this little item called again? Okay, I guess maybe it might have worked with either of them. A video camera, Your Honor. Well, a very small one, but... Oh, that's right, a camera. Ah, you kids and your fancy toys nowadays. Mr. Edgeworth, earlier you claimed that Mr. Ungard knew of the existence of this note because he was spying on the victim. Isn't that right? If that were true, then this means Mr. Ungard would have known that the victim had forged the note. So then, the defendant knew the suicide note was a fake. And if that's true, then the situation has suddenly changed in a very dramatic way. Exactly, Your Honor. The prosecution's theory as to what Mr. Ungard's motive for murder was, it has suddenly disappeared into thin air. But Your Honor, it's not as if Mr. Ungard monitored Corda 24 hours a day. Perhaps the victim wrote the note in a place Mr. Ungard didn't know of. Well, right back at you, Mr. Edgeworth. Why don't you show us some proof that the victim made the forgery at an unknown place? Order, order, order. Mr. Edgeworth. It looks like this time it is you who has dug his own grave. As I figured. Huh? As you figured. As I figured, it came down to this after all. Mr. Edgeworth, we're not making any sense. When I heard the results of the handwriting analysis, I thought this might happen. The question is, what next? What next? If the prosecution can't prove Mr. Ungard's motive through the evidence, then we must prove it from another angle. Well, I agree with you there. Your Honor, the prosecution would like to call a witness to the stand at this time. Oh, well, that's fine. However, this witness is a little unusual. Edgeworth stuttering. This is not like him at all. Unusual? Well, what sort of witness is this person, Mr. Edgeworth? This witness is one who is perfectly fit to answer, once and for all, the question of who was it that hired Shelley to kill her to commit murder. That's impossible. No such person exists who can answer that question with such certainty. Yes, Mr. Edgeworth, who is this witness? Yes, go on, who is it? The man himself, Mr. Shelley the Killer. Oh, Mr. the Killer. Wait! Shelley the Killer. Okay. I guess that's one stalling tactic. We actually really need to find this guy. Once we do that, who cares? Or, you mean the killer? Or, I mean the assassin. Yes, Your Honor. He's coming here, to the witness stand. Well, yes, in a manner of speaking. I recognize that this is a very unusual circumstance, so I ask for your permission. Well, Mr. Wright. Yes? Is this alright with you? Do I have choice here? I can't really do much else to drag this trial out. The defense has no objections, Your Honor. I wonder if it really is alright to do this. Very well then, the prosecution calls its witness to the stand. Edgeworth, is there no other way left to us? Now then, witness, you just found him. You just have him here now. Your name and your, occupation, please. Oh, I see. You use this. Very good, sir. My name is Shelley the Killer. I'm a professional assassin. I say, what is going on here? Your Honor, how can you remain so calm? And what is the meaning of this two-way radio? Actually, Your Honor, it was delivered to me just now, and it came with a condition. As long as we do not trace its source, Mr. De Killer will testify to this court. So this must be what that urgent phone call he got earlier was about. Oh no, this will not do. I cannot allow this in my court. First of all, we can't even be sure this is really Mr. De Killer himself. Witness, please present some sort of proof that you are, in fact, Shelley De Killer. I understand. Please wait a second. I'm so hungry. Maya! Maya! Voice. Mr. Wright, can you confirm anything from this? The defense has no objections to this person. We are satisfied that this man is indeed Shelley De Killer. It looks like we've run into yet another unexpected turn of events. Well, it doesn't seem like we have too many choices under these circumstances, so... Now then, witness. There's one thing I would like to confirm before we speak of anything else. And what would that be? At the request of a client, you killed Mr. Juan Corda. Is this correct? It is as you say. I did indeed kill Mr. Corda. Now that we have answered that, let's move on to the name of your client. Very well. This is all just a bad dream. Yes, that's it. A bad dream. Shelley De Killer. What is he going to say? About my client. There's something I must first state. To an assassin, nothing is more important than the trust between a client and himself. And that is the reason I'm here today on this witness stand. It is my wish that you grasp this concept before I give you the name of my client. Mr. De Killer seems to be a very clever man. I'd almost say he seems to be mocking us. Cars. While he may appear to be our enemy, Your Honor, Mr. De Killer is only stating the truth. He is no hypocrite. He has always stood by this one belief. You mean about this trust between his clients and himself thing? It seems to be a level of trust beyond what people like me can comprehend. Well, Mr. Wright, are you ready to cross-examine the witness? Yes, Your Honor. There's no way to know what's coming next, so stay cool and collected, Phoenix. What is that noise? I mean, it's a truck or something, but why? Something was first state. If we can hear anything you have to say later, can you please just tell us your clients? I don't think you will understand your place, Mr. Attorney. I said this is something I must first state. Do you know what the word first means? Sorry, go on. Well, it appears this is one witness you can't badger, Mr. Wright. It's only because you don't know about my situation. To an assassin, nothing is more important than trust between the client and himself. The trust between you and your client. I provide my services in a fast and efficient manner. In exchange, I trust that my clients are discreet about me and my identity. If too many people knew my face, it would be quite troublesome. And that is why you're testifying in this manner. I feel like the big stitching down your face is maybe very obvious, especially now that it's been brought up by a witness. This is the first time one of my clients has ever been accused of murder. I must preserve De Killer name so my clients can trust me. But couldn't someone stab you in the back and break your trust? It's never happened before, but if it ever did, Yes? That person wouldn't be my client for very long. It would certainly... That's enough. Please, no more. Very well, it was only a hypothetical anyway. That's the reason I'm here today on this witness stand. That seems a little strange to me. I mean, you're about to tell us the name of your client. I would think this would be very bad for them. It doesn't matter to me. This client has already broken the rules and acted outside of their prescribed role. Their role? This person tried to implicate another of the crime in order to save themselves. And this is a trespass that cannot be forgiven. You... Who gave you the right to be so high and mighty? To the gentleman who spoke just now, excuse me, but would you care to die? No, I didn't say anything. The judge had better watch himself. I should be grasp this concept before I give the name of my client. We understand, so please tell us the name of your client. I'm afraid I cannot do that. I still have a few things to say before I do. See, that egomaniacal. It's not good for your health to be so aggravated. You won't live very long if you let everything bother you. Somehow, that coming from an assassin makes it less than comforting. I don't really care about all this extra fluff, just tell us the name already. Patience. Try to calm down a little. It's important to try to understand his mindset. He seems very steadfast and close. You're going to have to work to get him to talk. I'm not his therapist, you know. I don't feel like any of these are statements that can be contradicted. These are like opinions. Didn't I have to like press one thing and then press another thing at one point? Maybe. Same thing. I'm sorry, but I was wondering about something you just said. You said that your client had already broken the rules. A person who frames another is the worst kind of human. And that's why you feel you can betray this person. I have no trust relation with a client who can't understand their assigned role. Just my luck, an assassin with a conscience. Who would have figured? Now then, everyone, do you think you can understand my logic? This case just keeps getting better and better. If you can't, then I'm afraid we can't proceed. Everyone understands your point, I think. Really. In that case, I believe I am prepared to disclose the information you seek. You have made it crystal clear that you value trust over all else. I believe we are ready. Excellent. Cool. Now then, I do believe it's about time I reveal the name of my client, don't you agree? What is it? Now I can't bring myself to ask the client's name. If you can't ask it, Mr. Wright, then I will. Witness. What is the name of your client who requested the murder of Mr. Wongkorda? The person's name is... Adrian Andrews. What? Witness. That's not who you told me it was earlier. Right, what are you talking about, Mr. Prosecutor? I should think I know my own client, and it's Adrian Andrews. What? This can't be. On the phone earlier. What's going on here? My guess is that Mr. the Killer just stabbed Mr. Edgeworth in the back. Stabbed Edgeworth in the back? I'm sure that in order to get an audience with this court, Mr. the Killer told him a different name. Matt on guard, perhaps. I knew it. This is outrageous. I was deceived. This witness is telling a very serious lie. But you were the one who summoned this witness. You, Shelley the Killer. My testimony is the truth. The defendant at the moment is Matt on guard, am I correct? All I wish to do is help procure his acquittal. Wow. All of a sudden, it feels like we could actually win this. Yeah. The prosecution has failed to provide a motive and has instead provided the suicide note, which is a forgery created by the victim. Furthermore, there is a possibility the defendant himself knew it was a fake. But most definitive of all, we've heard from the assassin himself the name of his client. Mr. the Killer's client who requested the murder was not the defendant at all. No. With all this evidence, it is obvious to me that this means that Mr. Matt on guard is innocent. I seem to have caused you all a bit of confusion. Please continue your discussion and call me when you have reached a verdict. Bailiff, please bring Miss Adrian Andrews in immediately. What now? With the way this is going, on guard will be found innocent. This may be our last chance to save Maya. Yeah, but Edgeworth is right. The killer is lying. And on guard, my client, I know he's guilty. Can I live with myself if I win this? Who would have believed that the prosecution's own witness would absolve the defendant? Your Honor, the prosecution requests permission to further question the witness. Shelley the Killer is certainly lying under oath. It wasn't me. Listen, everyone, please, that testimony just now. It was all one big lie. Miss Andrews, the suicide note may have been a fake, but that man, Matt, he's the reason Celeste died. And Juan's death, it was all because he got pulled into Matt's twisted world. That testimony just now, you have to believe me, it was a horrible, horrible lie. But Mr. the Killer himself has testified. He has named you as his client. No, that's not true. Also, there's quite a bit of evidence that points to you. The knife and button, donning the nickel samurai costume. But that's... You even have a motive. We know that Miss Celeste Impax was a large part of your life. You wanted to follow her, and you wanted revenge against the two who hurt her. I would say you have plenty of reasons to want them both dead. No. Mr. Wright! You know the truth. Tell them. Tell them the real story. Who the real killer is. Tell them. Please, help me. Yes, I know the truth. Mr. Wright. Yes, Your Honor. I believe we have reached the end of this trial. Therefore, I ask the defense for any final words or opinions. I have to decide. Do I take the not guilty verdict and save Maya? Or do I throw this chance away and wait for Gumshoe's new evidence? What am I supposed to do? Phoenix, I can't do it, Mia. I can't accept a not guilty. You are a lawyer. I know. But Matt on guard is a killer, a murderer. I can't let him get away with this. I can't let someone else take the fall. If I let Miss Andrews be convicted, then I'm no better than on guard. And even though I don't want to admit it, I have to face the fact that it's because of Edgeworth that I now know the real truth. He could have gotten on guard convicted so many times over, but he never took a single one of those chances. If I take this verdict right now, I'd be betraying his trust. His trust. I had never thought about it until now. I trust him. Yes, you do. Mr. Wright, your opinion, please. The defense requests that we be allowed to further question Mr. DeKiller. Am I hearing you correctly, Mr. Wright? Right. But that witness has cleared your client through his testimony. Your job here is done. I'm not done yet. To see this through, to see through witnesses' lies and find the truth. That is my job, Your Honor. There's still more evidence to look at. I'm sure that once those pieces arrive here, in this very courtroom, a miracle will occur. Very well. Trial will continue. Mr. Edgeworth, please re-establish connection with Mr. DeKiller. Right away, Your Honor. Has a verdict been reached? Before that, we would like to talk with you a little more about all you needed from me was the name of my client. What else could you need me for? Well, actually, we would like to hear everything you know about this case. That is how things are usually done. What is he talking about? Usually done? But what shall we have him testify about now? Mr. DeKiller, if you don't mind, please testify about your client in more detail. You legal people and your procedures. Is it any wonder no one likes to go to court? About my client, part 2. Okay. As I've already stated quite a few times, Adrian Anders is my client. However, one thing I simply cannot overlook is tampering with the scene of the crime. My client did it to frame another for the crime, while pretending to be the first person to discover the body and enter the scene. Adrian Anders already knew from the very beginning that Juan Cordo was dead. Even more appalling is the creation and planting of the knife and button. That act is what I was referring to when I said my client had broken the rules. This is a most unexpected turn of events for the, 5th time now. However, this time everything has finally been revealed. Just a second, Your Honor. Yes, Mr. Edgeworth? We still have the cross-examination to do. But you don't need to question testimony like this. Do you, Mr. Wright? Your Honor, the defense will question the witness. So if I have a choice here. Huh? Why? What this witness has said is nothing but beneficial to the defense's case. If you scrutinize the testimony, then they'll expose the lies in that oh-so-beneficial testimony, I suppose. I don't understand what's going on anymore. That makes 2 of us. About my client, part 2. What is it, Mr. Wright? If I press him the wrong way, it might raise suspicions on his end. But I have to do something to waste more time. Witness about requesting a hit. Yes. How much is your fee? I see you are also quite a dark-hearted man, Mr. Attorney. Uh-huh. If you would like to talk business, we can do so after the trial. No. I'm not thinking of hiring Mr. Wright. Yes. You want to kill me. You want me dead, don't you? Why would you think something like that? You're guilty. Mr. Phoenix Wright. You are hereby declared guilty. Witness, let's continue. Why did you disclose the name of your client? They are your client, are they not? That didn't take my health. One thing I cannot overlook, tampering with whoops. I would think that most people wouldn't be able to overlook a person hiring another to kill. If I had a problem with such a thing, I wouldn't be very effective at my job. My wire's all tangled up. How did this happen? I didn't knock it out, did it? Hold on. No, it looks like it's fine. Rolling up my sleeves, it's like hot in here. We have the air conditioners, but the one in here isn't on because it makes a lot of noise. I prefer not to get it my stream, all that noise. That wouldn't be any good. Okay. If I had a problem with such a thing, I wouldn't be very effective at my job. Yeah. A change in occupation might be good for you. However, I will say this. Even though I am the one that does the deed, my clients are always the real guilty party. I think you maybe are your own problem. That goes without saying, Mr. DeKeller. And their fate is to live with the knowledge of their guilt on their shoulders. However, my client this time thought they could run away from their guilt. Frame another. Are you talking about the button and the knife? Yes, and my business card. Oh, this card. So no one has to waste their time, including the police. I always make a point to make things as easy as possible. You try to make things easy. My business card makes it very easy to identify who carried out the service. He's pretty devoted to his work. To disregard everything. To go and stab the deceased with a knife. And even hide my card from sight. It is something I cannot overlook. It's really hard to tell if he's being truthful or not without him being here. And you'd be the first person to discover the body. So you're saying most clients wouldn't do such a thing? It is correct. Usually most people try to create an alibi for themselves. If you should use my services, Mr. Attorney, I would suggest you plan for your alibi too. No, I already told you I have no intention of using your services, ever. Why does he keep looking at me like I'm the one on trial here? Agent Andrews already knew from the very beginning that Juan Corda was dead. From the very beginning. That is correct. From before my client visited the room. All my clients know precisely what the situation is at all times. I wonder if that's really true. That's odd. But even more appalling is the creation and planting of the knife and button. So why do you think your client did that? What do you mean by why? Well, fiddling around at the scene of the crime is pretty risky. And why would someone who had requested a murder go requested a murder go to the crime scene anyway. That is true. I assume it was probably done to frame a strong guard. If that's the case, then why didn't the person just request that you do it? Sadly, that is not possible. Huh? My job is to kill. That is all. And to leave my business card behind, naturally. The business card is so my clients may escape blame. To protect them is my duty. Even if they say it's for revenge, setting someone else up to take your fall. That act is what I was referring to. Broken the rules. And that's all you have to testify. Yes, I pray that I will never be called to the stand again. Again? Isn't you plan to continue? I must, as I have yet to find a person to take my place and become the fourth successor. Actually, how would you like a new life, Mr. Attorney? Excuse me? No, I'm fine, really. Really, now. What kind of man the judge thinks I am now? What are you going to do now, Phoenix? All I can do now is expose the lies. That's true. However, you realize that would be very bad for our client, right? I'm so confused. But one thing I know for sure is I can't just let this trial end yet. Let's see. Very beginning. Correct before the invisible room. I know what the situation is at all times. It's odd. So she went in when she pointed out the knife, but she did the knife. Since she went in at the time she put in the juice. I don't know if that's helpful. Okay, that is what I want. Thank you so much for taking the time to testify, Mr. DeKeller. What is the meaning of that attitude? When Adrian Andrews entered the victim's room, your client had no idea that Juan Corda had been murdered. But how do you know that? From this wine glass, Your Honor. The glass. Mr. De Killer's supposed client thought Mr. Corda had only fainted, which is why this glass of tomato juice was poured for the victim. But isn't that just a part of Adrian Andrews' calculated plan? That is not possible, Your Honor. This glass bears the fingerprints of that person. Had this been planned, they would have never left their fingerprints behind. I see your point. Mr. Edgeworth, what is your opinion? Strangely enough, I had the same exact thought just now. Witness, how do you explain this strange phenomenon? Isn't it a waste of time? Isn't it a waste of time to ask about such a minor detail? It's not a very important point anyway, correct? I'm afraid you are mistaken. If Adrian Andrews really is your client, as you claim, then your client should have had knowledge of Mr. Corda's death. If not, then that can only mean that Adrian Andrews was never your client at all. Strange. Yes. Why is it the attorney has yet to raise an objection at this absurd situation? Phoenix, if the killer figures out what we're up to, then we're in real trouble. Yeah, I know. Mr. Edgeworth, I'm surprised. You know you can't say things like that without any evidence. Sorry. Well, that was an awfully weak objection for the two of you. Anyway, I am positive there was a contradiction in that testimony. The prosecution requests further testimony concerning where the request was taken. Very well. Right now I have to buy us more time. While we wait for the items the killer left behind to get here, I just know that the very outcome of this trial lies with those items. Request taking. This request came to me, about a week ago. It's a request for my services on the night of the awards ceremony. We met at a certain bar to discuss and finalize a few matters. That is what occurred. I trust my memory. Believe I have made no mistakes. So you physically met your client, huh? That is correct. Meeting one's client is the first step to building trust, in my opinion. I see. Well, Mr. Wright, your cross-examination, please. Cool. This came to me about a week ago. 1 week ago. Are you sure? Yes, I'm quite sure. I, of course, had my own preparations. There's a garbage truck outside, I think. Well, you don't have to go look at it. She loves looking at cars. I, of course, had my own preparations. I was barely able to finish. When you request my services, Mr. Attorney, I hope you will keep that in mind. Please, stop. In any case, my client this time had a very specific date and time in mind. Specific date and time. The night of the awards ceremony. Did you ask why on that specific night? No. I tried to fulfill all the conditions of my client's request. But as for why, I only had my suspicions. Your suspicions, huh? So what are these suspicions you had? Why did your client request that night? I'm sure it was all for the bear. The bear? My client spoke of it. I'm sure there will be a bear-shaped figurine in one Corda's room. I'd like you to retrieve that item for me. There's a lot of bear-shaped figurines in there. Yeah, you must be talking about this bear puzzle. Inside that figurine was a suicide note. Naturally, the victim brought it with him to his hotel room. He was planning to publicly disclose his contents after the press conference, after all. It was correct. And if I had not done the job that night, I would not have known where that bear figurine was. I see. Well, Mr. Wright, was the testimony just now of any importance? I'll get back to that. What the killer said sounds plausible, but in the end, it's just his conjecture. In the end, it's just his conjecture. No, Your Honor, I don't think it's very important. Well then, witness, please continue. Why are their brakes so loud? Why are they making that noise? At a certain bar. So you physically met Adrian Andrews, right? Of course I did. What was that? What was the brief pause? Witness, I would like for you to give us a few more details. I always meet my clients as a matter of principle. I've never taken a request by telephone or mail. And why is that? It's because I value the trust between the client and myself above all else. And the only way to establish that is to speak to the client while looking them in the eye. Well, Mr. Wright, was the testimony just now of any importance? I'm guessing whichever one you pick gets appended and then you're supposed to contradict it with some evidence, but I'd like to see my options first. Why he meets his clients is not important, and that wasn't the point. Witness, please stop sidestepping my questions. What do you mean by that? My question was, did you really meet Adrian Andrews in person? I already told you, Mr. Wright, I did. It was only through talking with him face to face that I began to trust him. That's what I thought. I can trust this person as a client. Is that a weird translation thing, or is that meant to be a hint of a thing to deal with? It's true what they say about talking face to face. Well, Mr. Wright, was the testimony just now of any importance? If I heard what I think I heard just now, then I think I've got him. Your Honor, I believe the testimony just now was of the utmost importance. Oh, really? If that's the case, witness, please include the statement just now in your testimony. Very well. The moment I saw him... But as we now know, that was not how it turned out, correct? What do you mean? Adrian Andrews turned out to be a client who couldn't stick to the rules, right? Well, yes. Suppose you're correct. Maybe this guy just doesn't know who Adrian Andrews is. Just like, even as a concept. And just does not recognize that name is... So I would like to check one last time. Are you sure your testimony is accurate? So your client was Adrian Andrews. That's correct. Well, he says the two of them met, but if they did, then there shouldn't be anything wrong with the killer's testimony. Well, there doesn't seem to be anything strange this time around. There is. You have to draw more information from him, but you can't draw his suspicion. If you can do that, you should be able to find a flaw in his testimony somewhere. Talk about a delicate balance. Do you just want me to present her? Look. Look, girl. Why is he here twice? Okay. Girl. I would like to go over this one more time. You met Adrian Andrews at a bar and took the request at that time. Yes, that is correct. And that's when you thought he was trustworthy. How many times must I repeat myself? Yes, that is correct. I'm sorry, but that is an impossible tale. What? Shelley the Killer. You have never met the real Adrian Andrews. Why would you say that? Because you made one very big slip-up. About her. So what is the issue? What did you say just now? About her. If you had ever met Adrian Andrews in person, one look would have told you that she is a woman. Exploded. Order! Order in the court! Mr. Wright, what is the meaning of this? This witness testified to the following. That he always meets face-to-face with his clients when taking their request. But he's never met Adrian Andrews in person. Yes, Your Honor, that is exactly the point. That means Mr. the Killer's client could not have been Miss Adrian Andrews. Gross. Mr. Edgeworth, I understand your logic on this one. However, why would the assassin make such a basic mistake? I believe it has to do with her name, Your Honor. Her name. Yes, Adrian Andrews is, without a doubt, a very androgynous name. Yes, I see. Unluckily for Mr. the Killer, the entire time he was on the stand, no one had stated Adrian Andrews' gender. And so he simply picked the wrong gender to go with. What is going on? Shelley the Killer. This court demands an explanation. I think somehow I must have mixed up this client with another. So does that mean you remember something different now? Yes, of course. Please, if you would allow me to testify once more. I know he's just going to spit out more lies. Very well, but this time please give us the truth, and nothing but the truth. Taking part 2. Yes, now I remember. I took that request by mail. There have been times when I took a job without having to meet my client. Without having met, I think is what it said. The request was for the murder of one Corda and 2 or 3 other small things. When I saw the name at the end of the letter, I thought my client to be a man. So you took this job through a letter. He didn't mention anything about a letter in his earlier testimony, which means he's definitely lying. Be careful, Phoenix. If you break the assassin's testimony completely, it's over for us. I know, I can't make him suspicious, but I think we're okay. Like, we can do this. As long as he's standing there across from me, no matter how strong of a punch I throw, he'll counter it. Now then, let's begin the cross-examination. That's taking part 2. Yeah. Now I remember that the request by mail. But didn't you just say that you always meet your clients? Yes, I suppose I did say that. However, there are some clients for whom a meeting is simply not possible. But didn't you meet your client this time? No, I did not. Oh, come now, let's stop with this game of cat and mouse. Using your silliest voice is not going to work on me. Alright then, just cough it up and confess. Mr. Wright, you can't badger a witness with such harsh words. You're a lawyer, so behave like one and present evidence instead of mindlessly yelling. Now then, do you have any proof that Mr. the Killer met with his client? have that? I don't think right now. I'm sorry, Your Honor. Unfortunately, I don't have any proof. I see. Your line of questioning was just another waste of time. Sadly for us, Your Honor, that is the nature of right and wrong. Tynes took a job without having met the client. And why could you not meet certain clients? Recently, I've been receiving more requests. If I met each and every client, I would lose some nice business opportunities. Nice business opportunities? On top of which, the times have changed. It's now the age of information computers and the born. That's correct. Well, I have joined the times, and now take requests via electronic mail. Electronic mail? Do you have to mail that in a special insulated envelope? I'm very sorry. I despise the shortening of words. What I meant by electronic mail is what's commonly referred to as email. Email. In a contest of mimicry, the judge would beat a parrot, hands down. Anyway, so you took this job without having met your client, and 2 or 3 other small things. 2 or 3 other things. Yes, and what were these other things? A few other things that have nothing to do with this case. What should I do? Should I let him slide with that? It'd be really bad if I pushed his buttons the wrong way and he got mad. Whether or not they're related to this case is for the court to decide. Mr. Attorney. Yes? Everything I've said from the beginning has been nothing but beneficial to your client. Which is why I wonder what is pushing you to continue with this cross-examination. Could it be that you are planning to betray your own client? That's... I smell the stench of a backstabber. And should you turn out to be one... Wait! Uh-oh. This is looking really bad. I shouldn't press my luck. Alright, I have to think. Is this worth pursuing? That's just... The killer sounds like one sharp man. I should try to find a better way to do this without making a mess so suspicious. Let's continue with the testimony. Witness, if you please. Saw the name. So you're saying that you never saw your client's face? Not even once? I did, once. It was when I went to give my client the figurine. Yes, I see. But Miss Andrews was wearing a mask at the time. He's missing the stitching on his face in this image. A mask. A nickel samurai mask, I'm guessing. Mr. Wright, what do you have to say about this? Do you have any problems with this piece of testimony? When was that done? When was that done? Leave information. Trying to remember when that happened. Powers testified about it, right? And it would have been before she went in there, right? Maybe. I don't have anything that says that. One thing does sort of stick out at me, Your Honor. Witness, I think you most definitely saw your client's face. Let's recall Mr. Power's testimony. After the award ceremony, I went by myself to Matt's room. Matt was standing there in front of his room, still in his nickel samurai costume. Matt gave the bellboy a tip. You received quite a large roll of cash from Mr. On Guard. At the time, he was not wearing his nickel samurai mask. Oh. Order, order. Yes, now that you mention it, I do remember that. Witness. Okay, you're just... Yes, that night I did wander the floors, bellboy. I received plenty of tips that night for carrying juice to the various rooms. Was that so wrong? Huh? The man who gave me that tip was not my client. He was probably just a very generous person. I'm sorry, but sadly we are not nearly so generous here. If I could receive large rolls of cash by simply bringing people things on trays, then why on earth would I stand around here prosecuting? Oh, the deja vu. And isn't a salary more than enough for one man? And where is your evidence that the large roll of cash was not, in fact, a tip? Come, Mr. Edgeworth, show me the money. What? Mr. Attorney? Yes? No, I think your line of questioning has been a little strange. In fact, I would say you don't seem to believe Miss Andrews is my client. Oh, no, it's not like that at all. I just think lies aren't a good thing, you know. Oh, I know and I agree. Lies are not a good thing at all. I think we're on the same page now, aren't we, Mr. Attorney? Remember, if I feel threatened in any way, I'm free to cut contact at any time. I'm sorry, please forgive my foolishness. Only we're apologetic all the time. Anyway, I do not see a huge contradiction here. Therefore, you may continue, witness. We've pretty much reached the end of our rope here. Uh-huh. Seems like we're still okay to me. That's exactly what is so bad. At the rate we're going, we will end up completely destroying the killer's lie. If we do that, we already know how serious of a situation that would put us in. Uh-oh, yeah. All I can do now is pray that those items reach us in time. No. Let's just go with this one then. What were these things? Something digital. Whether or not they're related is for the court to decide. Trade client. Wait. I don't know what else we're doing here. Yeah, I should save just in case it, like, just completely ends the whole thing. 'Cause that would suck. Witness, this is a very important matter. Please cooperate and tell us what these other jobs your client requested were. But it's truly that important, I suppose I don't have much of a choice. The bear figurine. The bear figurine. After the assassination of the target, I was to find that figurine. I was told that this job was just important as the actual killing. And where was that figurine? It was inside Mr. Corda's suitcase. And then, what did you do next? I handed it over to my client right away. You gave it to your client. Interesting. This information certainly sounds important to me. Witness, please include what you've just stated in your testimony. As you wish. I found this figurine at Mr. Onguard's mansion. If you gave it to Miss Andrews, then what was it doing there? I was waiting for her there. That was also part of the plan to frame Mr. Onguard, I'm sure. That makes a lot of sense. Well, Mr. Wright, do you have any problems with this piece of testimony? He just said he handed it over. So the killer says he gave the figurine to Miss Andrews, but I know somewhere in that statement there is a contradiction. And yet, I know that if I present something trivial here, it will cut the connection on his end. If you want to make a strong point, Phoenix, you have to present strong evidence. She's right. So now what, Dr. Wright? Let's see. So we need to prove. So he said he gave it to the client, but he said it was also. But he also brought it to the house because he was waiting there. That doesn't make sense. I don't know what evidence would state that. It's no use. As long as I can't put my finger on the central problem here. Pressing this witness anymore would be extremely dangerous. It appears that Mr. Wright has no problems. Well then, witness, please continue. Saying you never saw the client's face. Once. But to give the client the figurine. Let's see. So Andrews was wearing a mask at the time. Nickel samurai mask. Something does stick out at me. Definitely saw the client's face. That's not the problem here. Let's recall the testimony by myself. Saw the tip. At that time, he was not wearing his mask. I remember remember that. That's not really what I was hoping you would have changed your statement a bit. So wrong. Tips, blah blah blah. Mr. Attorney. Questioning's been strange. Lies aren't good. It's not quite what I was going for. Found this in the mansion. If you gave it to Miss Andrews, what was it doing there? Waiting for her there. Part of the plan to frame Mr. On Guard. Makes sense. So the killer says he gave the figurine to Miss Andrews, but I know somewhere in that statement there is a contradiction. And yet, now if I present something trivial here, cut the connection on his end, make a strong point, present strong evidence. Just not sure what evidence would say anything about that. Guess I don't know the exact question they're posing either. Just seems like a contradiction to say you gave it to her and you were waiting at that guy's house to give it to her. You can't do both of those. That's not a piece of evidence. Giddy. Let's see. None of these are gonna be relevant. That's not helpful. Witness, let's go over this one more time. You gave Miss Andrew the bear figurine, and she told you to take the bear and wait for her at On Guard Mansion. Is that correct? Yes, where are you going with this? Well, I think maybe you might have remembered a few things incorrectly. What? This is a battle of wits. I can't let up on him. I don't think it is possible for Miss Andrews to have been the recipient of this bear. Maybe just the fact that she knew how to open it and would just do that. Shelley the Killer. If you had really given the bear to if you had really given the bear to Miss Andrews, then this item should not have been inside it. This item. I see where you're going. Yep, that's where I'm going. Where is everyone going? Do I need to pack a suitcase? Your Honor, please think back to Miss Andrews' testimony. I was going to burn it for her sake. If even for a single minute, this bear had actually been in Miss Andrews' hands, I'm sure she would have taken the suicide note out and burned it. Order, order, order! So that's where you two were going. So by the very fact that the suicide note was still inside the bear, it tells us that your client didn't know how to disassemble the puzzle. Which means... It means, Your Honor, that it is impossible for Adrian Andrews to have been the client. To be the client, rather. Oh. Order, order, order! Mr. Phoenix Wright. I'm sure I mentioned this before. I hate traitors above all else. I think your cross-examination has clearly demonstrated something to me. You must wish to break your end of our agreement. No, that's not. It's enough. That is your intention. There is only one thing for me to do. Well, wait, please! Gentlemen, ladies, please excuse me. I have a matter that I must attend to. No! Please! Not that! Please wait! Mr. Attorney, bring this trial to a speedy end and I may stay my hand. Otherwise... Mr. Wright, are you... Mr. Edgeworth? Yes, Your Honor. I didn't understand this witness's outburst just now. Do you think there's a need to hear more testimony, or is this enough? Well, we should... Edgeworth, we can't do this. If we keep this up, Maya, she'll... The prosecution... What has come over everyone? Even you or... Prosecution rests. What is going on around here? Prosecution has no further questions, Your Honor. What? Well, I never thought I'd see the day. This is a most unusual situation. If the prosecution rests with no further questions, then the prosecution has failed to uphold its stance. If that is the case, then, even though I am reluctant, I must believe that Mr. DeKiller's testimony is accurate. That would mean that Shelley DeKiller's client is Adrian Andrews. Mr. Wright. Yes, Your Honor. If I end the trial here, right now, then your client, Matt Ungard, would be declared innocent. And in his place, Adrian Andrews would be charged with murder. Miss Andrews would be charged with murder. The prosecution has no further questions, so we will now hear the defense's final remarks. Bailiff, please bring the defendant, Matt Ungard, to the stand. The items from Mr. DeKiller's hideout didn't make it in time. We tried as hard as we could. It looks like our time's run out. I can't believe it. The outcome now lies in your hands. Dude, did the old guy finally decide? To be honest, I can't think of you as a truly innocent and good person. You have done enough evil to drive a woman to suicide. But, at least on the charge of murder, it would appear you are innocent. Huh. So, I guess even little fuddy-duddy figured me out. Mr. Engard. What an atrocious lawyer I have. Giving up his own client like this. Isn't that refreshing like a spring breeze, crap? It's just as atrocious, don't you agree? Anyway, get on with it and pronounce me innocent already. Alright, Mr. Lawyer. Should I side with justice? Or should I save Maya's life? You'd better get on guard a guilty sentence, okay? But if I did that, Maya will die. If I say he's innocent, then Miss Andrews will be charged as the murderer. Do I say he's guilty or not guilty? Either choice I make, someone's life is going to end. It all hinges on what I choose. Now then, Mr. Wright, let's hear the defense's final statements on this matter. If the person who hired the assassin was Adrian Andrews, then your client, Mr. Matt Engard, is innocent. There's no need to ask, old man. After all, my lawyer's gonna say what I want, aren't you? Right. I can't do this. But I have to decide something. I can't count on the evidence to help me anymore. I have to listen to my heart. My client, Matt Engard, is... Can't save either. We are waiting for your answer, Mr. Wright. Matt Engard, your client deserves an answer. Maya, I'm sorry. Matt Engard is... Why are you in here? Franziska von Karma. We're doing something. What are you doing? How? You see now, don't you, Mr. Phoenix Wright? This is exactly why you should never take your eyes off that scruffy fool. Did you bring them? The final pieces, do you have them? You should know better than to ask that, Mr. Miles Edgeworth. Von Karma is perfect in every way. The evidence here is in perfect condition. Don't worry about Scruffy, he's fine, and his injuries are minor. All of the items are inside this. What a filthy old coat this is. That's Gumshoe's. I can spot his tattered rags anywhere. I apologize for its ugliness, but there was nothing else to wrap the items in. I've fought long and hard this whole trial, all for what is inside that raggedy coat. I'm sure that inside that coat lies a crucial piece of evidence. Your Honor, inside that filthy coat are the defense's final pieces of evidence. your final evidence. This trial is already over. All that remains is for me to hand down my verdict. I do not believe that any evidence presented now would change the outcome of this trial. What? Your Honor, it is our duty to examine every piece of evidence down to the last. I request that Miss Von Karma be allowed to present these pieces of evidence. Suppose you are right, Mr. Edgeworth. I grant permission to do so. However, this one obvious rule applies here. If these items do not bring up any new points, then they will not be accepted by this court. Now, Miss Von Karma, if you please. These pieces of evidence are items left by the killer during his escape from the police. He must have been in quite a rush. Yes, Your Honor, the killer left 3 pieces of evidence. Somewhere among the evidence we're about to see, there will be something that will turn this whole situation around, like a miracle. I'm sure of it. That is all we can hope for. The first item is a pistol. Does the killer's pistol have anything to do with this case? I mean, that doesn't sound overly useful, does it? The gun wasn't used in any of this. I'm pretty sure there was no gun involved in this case. There's no real benefit to hearing about it. Please present the next piece of evidence. So add to the court record. Nothing else is known. The second piece of evidence is this videotape. I bet the killer took that from On Guard Mansion. That sounds like we need more information. Have you checked the contents of that tape? Unfortunately, there was no time to. Oh, yeah. But I would speculate that this tape is very important. Why would you say that? Because he came back to his hideout for it. The killer went back for it. That's right. It looks like he was trying to recover it. He injured 3 of the officers at the site. But somehow it looks like they managed to protect it from the killer. Shelley the killer is no ordinary man. New tape added to the court record. Finally tried to recover it. Contents unknown. Last piece of evidence is this bellboy's uniform. Is that a uniform from the Gatewater Hotel? You know, that at least sounds like it would come up. Was that used during the crime? I'm most certain it was. There's even a pair of black leather gloves in one of the pockets. There's no doubt about it. The killer was wearing this on the night of the murder. There is one thing I found interesting about this uniform. And what is that? There's a button missing on this uniform. A button. It's a very unique button. I'm sure if we were to recover it, it would provide us with an interesting clue. What? I don't know what that means. Unspecified stuff. I'm not trying to do anything. I'm trying to play Ace Attorney. I don't know what you're talking about. Bellboy's uniform added to the court record. Worn by the killer on the night of the murder. One of its special buttons is missing. That is all I have to present, Your Honor. It's just as I thought. And what is that, Your Honor? I'm sure, were we under normal circumstances, these items from Shelley the killer's hideout would be very important clues. However, Our question is not who did the killing. It is who is the client. Yes, that is correct. And these 3 items do not tell us anything about that. Thank you for your hard work, Miss Von Karma. You may step down now. Wait, Your Honor. Please allow me to examine this new evidence. Overruled. This court already has all the evidence it needs to hand down a verdict. Wonderful. Absolutely splendid. This judge is such a brilliant man, isn't he? Is this the end? Phoenix. I knew it. There's no such thing as a miracle in this world, is there? I think you're wrong. I think they do exist. But you have to make that miracle happen. You've come this far. You can't give up now. But no matter how you think about it, people keep spamming, asking for Discord. I'm going to blacklist the term Discord the next time this happens. Stop doing this. You're just some kind of spam person, I guess. The word Discord is going on the blacklist. No more of it. Once I'm done with this. No matter how you think about it, it's... Try, for my sake. Just think about it for a second. There are 2 ways out of this situation for us. 2. The first... Make On Guard wish from the bottom of his soul for a guilty verdict. The killer will always place his client's wishes first. If On Guard himself wishes to be convicted, then he will let his hostage go. That may be true, but that's asking me to do the impossible. The second way. Force the killer to end his contract with On Guard. If the killer were to no longer think of On Guard as his client, then he would let Maya go. Yeah, that's even more impossible. He's a man who values his duty towards his clients above all else. I know both of these seem like impossible feats at first, but if you could make either one happen, it would truly be a miracle. The bigger problem is the judge has already said he doesn't need any more evidence. The pieces he was just shown, he's not accepting them. Phoenix, think things through from the other side. Isn't that what's always worked for us? The other side? Wait, does she mean... You mean to turn things around? Phoenix, the judge says he doesn't need the evidence. If that's the case, then who does need it? The person who needs the evidence. The defense, prosecution, and the judge. We have seen all the pieces of evidence, and that is how we have come to know the truth. But there is one person who has yet to see them all, and that person does not know the truth. That truth, it may be what will bring about the miracle in the end. There are no objections this time, correct? Now then, I will pronounce my verdict. Why don't we all respectfully sit back and listen, kids? I have already told you, Mr. Wright. This court does not need any more evidence. I am not saying it is us that needs the evidence, Your Honor. Then, you want to show the evidence to that person? Yes, Your Honor. Please, Your Honor. Mr. Wright, for you to ask with such passion, will grant you 1 chance. 1 chance. Please show your evidence to who you think is the right person. That's impossible. The turn the situation around in one try. One try. That is all I will permit. I have to try to remember everything that has happened up to this point. Think, Phoenix, think. There must be a way to save Maya while taking on guard down at the same time. Now then, Mr. Wright, let's not waste any more time. Who would you like to show evidence to? Make him want to be declared guilty could be, but I don't see any way to do that. Better way would be to break contract. Videotape. He took the videotape. He had been keeping it. I'm not sure if that's super useful. Also, he's been here the whole time. I think, I'm pretty sure he's just like sitting in a chair somewhere nearby. Just kind of watching everything happen. Pretty sure that's what the defendants are doing when they're not on the stand or whatever. They're just around. We can't exactly show this guy evidence. It's not... Unless it were to break contract, but nothing here would do that. He knows about the camera already because he has the tape from it, so that's obviously not enough for him to be all that concerned. Don't know about a button. It'd be interesting if we could find it, but it's not really a place it would be. Let's see. If I need to show evidence, I should know what evidence I'm going to show a person. It's obviously either him or the killer. But which evidence? Like, none of these need to be shown to the killer, because he's definitely already seen them. Could show them to Matt, but... He knows about... Would he know it was taken? Would that make a difference? Also, he was here. He definitely saw that we have the tape. My gun doesn't matter. It's definitely just, like... nothing he has. Just like in general. No more proof it was going to be used in any particular way. Contents unknown. I don't want your Discord. just said this. Because you don't listen. Because you aren't real. You know what? You're leaving. Banishment. Shut up. Anyway, video game. Let's see. Best guess I have is show this, but he's been in court. He's seen the evidence. He's been here. He's seen that we have all these things. This guy... Is there any evidence I could show him that he wouldn't have seen or known about? He's heard about this. He knew about this. He was there. This isn't helpful. Unless that's part of make on guard feel guilty enough to want to be declared guilty, but that seems like an unrelated problem. Like, he knows about the camera. He saw it. That's a whole different thing. That's related to other problems. There's not really anything to show that guy. Best guess is show him that the tape was taken. I see. And now, tell the court what one piece of evidence you would like to show this person. You stolen? Well, what do you think, Mr. Edgeworth?
I don't have anything to say to this.
How about you, Miss Von Karma?
Well, I was just shot, so...
Okay, that was clearly the wrong thing. I'm afraid I cannot allow the defense to continue.
What?
No one understands what you are talking about anymore.
Wait, please, one more
That is enough, Mr. Wright. I will now state my verdict. This court finds the defendant not on guard. That is all. This court is adjourned.
And just like that, the case came to an end. I ran away from the courtroom and wandered the streets alone. I never saw Maya again. The killer is a man of his word, and so I'm sure he released her as promised. I heard the verdict of Miss Andrews' trial a few days later. She was found guilty, of course. The miracle never happened. Maybe it was never meant to. Because a miracle is something that doesn't exist.
That's not how that was meant to go. Let's try that again. What do you want?
Show evidence. To try to remember everything that has happened up to this point. Think.
Let's save a little closer.
Must be a way to save Maya while taking on guard down at the same time.
Let's not waste any more time. Shoot. Probably not. Not sure we can show evidence to the killer, now that I'm thinking about it. He's like not here. Or like easily contacted. I don't think we can do that right now. Kind of busy with other stuff. I don't know. Okay. If I were to show him something that wasn't tape, something that would get him to feel guilty or to make him break contract somehow. I haven't used this at all. I wonder. Love Celeste. Guilty. I mean, he still had it. It's not like he's showing any sort of remorse. We haven't used it. Have we? I don't think so. Alright. Maybe we used it to prove they had a connection? Did we? I don't remember. One of its special buttons is missing. That's interesting. Best guess. Make you feel guilty. I don't have another plan. See? No. Tell the court with evidence. Okay, I have to go back to it. Well, what do you think? Okay, that's... Well, I would like to at least leave. I don't want to do this whole thing. That will drive me insane. I don't want to have to skip through it. Let me leave. Let me skip it. Okay. That's not what I wanted. I've seen you. Let me leave. I don't know. And maybe I'm showing it to the wrong person. This guy's like been here. I just kind of figured maybe he wouldn't have seen that piece of evidence. The only two people I can think to show things to were this guy, the killer, and the on guard. I need to figure out what. It's gotta be one of the more recent things, huh? It wouldn't give me new pieces of evidence and not want them to be used. The gun's not really helpful. This didn't do anything. Unless we could show him, but he's probably seen it already. He had plenty of time to watch it. It was like an hour max. So I'm sure he knows about it. Buttons. I don't know where I can find any buttons. Goodness. It's loud. Okay, let's see. One of its buttons is missing. That seems not helpful right now. Tape. The killer has definitely already seen the tape. He would have had time to see it. The other guy probably knows the tape was stolen. Also, I think I tried to show it to him. It didn't work. Gun. Seems unhelpful, just generally. Just kind of seems like something the guy had, just because. This is faked, it's not useful. That's a puzzle. I don't know, they both know about this. Didn't seem to help anything. Camera. Evidence. Spy camera radio waves transmits the data. Yeah, we know about this, and that's just a card. It wouldn't be show the tape to the killer. He definitely could have seen it. He had time. He should have seen it. Otherwise, he's stupid. I don't think I can use this in court. I don't think it would help. That's a different button. It's not helpful. Not helpful. Okay, I must be missing something here. Is there a different person I could try to show things to? Outside of the main people. Could she do something? Would she like to see a piece of evidence? It seems unlikely. Trying to get it back.
I suppose that...
Still, if he didn't want it to exist, he should have destroyed it, right? Wouldn't have been difficult. Just cut it up into pieces. At some point, you had time to do that. You had time to do anything you wanted with this tape. Why did you keep it intact? You definitely know what's on it. If you need it back, you need other people not to see it. Why do you want to have it intact? Could have even just recorded over it, if you didn't want to leave any evidence of destruction. You can record over tapes, right? I'm pretty sure. I don't know if that leaves any artifacting. I think they're magnetic, though. So, probably mostly fine. Enough that you can't tell, anyway. At least what specifically had been on it prior. Why did you keep this? But can I even show something to him? He's not here. He isn't here. Can try it. I see. Now, tell this court what this one piece of evidence you would like to show this person. Is this doing anything? Well, what do you think? It's letting me... I think there is some merit in showing this evidence to that witness. Thank you. Okay. Bailiff, please bring in the transceiver from earlier. I don't think the transceiver receives video, but okay. Alright, and looks like I managed to convince him. Maya, she's okay, right? And I tell you to concern yourself with bringing about a speedy end to this trial. It does in the anime. I have not seen the anime. I know of its existence. That's about it. I think I've seen a screenshot or two occasionally. But it kind of mostly just looks like the game because it's always just him standing in court. I tell you to concern yourself with bringing about a speedy end to this trial. Now, if I understand correctly, you wish to show me one piece of evidence. Yes, one is all I need. I have here a videotape. It was found at your hideout. I heard you injured 3 officers in your attempt to get this back. That was most regrettable. However, it was an order from my client. I was told to protect that videotape. I thought so. I'm afraid I seem to have failed in that regard. Do you know the contents of this tape? I was sternly told by my client not to watch it, so I have absolutely no idea. Actually, you are on this tape. Me. There was a video camera hidden at the crime scene. Your actions were being recorded. What? Is that true, Mr. Wright? Who was it that planted a camera? Well, the only person who could have placed a camera at the scene of the crime would be your client, naturally. That was Adrian Andrews.
Be quiet and listen, Your Honor.
Yes, sir. Your client specified a place and time for you. Isn't that right?
Yes.
That was so they could film you.
I had no idea. Mr. Wright, why would my client do such a thing? I'd like to know why. Why did Matt on Guard film the crime scene? The reason why he did it is my ticket out of this whole mess.
There's only one reason why your client would secretly film the crime scene. They wanted blackmail on you. Your client once told me something very interesting. We were talking about you, and this is what they said. But I'm no weakling. I don't believe in anyone. Least of all assassins. Oh, come now, Mr. Wright. Assassins aren't above blackmail. Yes, that's where the video comes in. With that, I can keep him at bay and even blackmail him if I want. Your client didn't trust you at all. They were thinking of using this video to blackmail you. What do you have to say to that, Shelley the Killer?
It looks like I was being deceived from the very beginning.
Yes, by a natural. That is the kind of person they are. Your client is a person who only thinks and plots of how to use the people around them to protect themselves from any and all dangers that may arise. That is the true nature of your client.
I have one question for the witness. Yes. You told us one thing numerous times during your testimony. You said that you detest traitors most of all. Yes, that's right. But what if that traitor was your own client? What would you do then? That's obvious. Would break our contract in that case. And then that client would become my next target. For the honor of the killer name, even if it takes an eternity, I would follow that person to the ends of the earth to exact my punishment. I see. That's all I wanted to know. So the traitor becomes the killer's next target. Ah, I get it. This is how we'll turn this case around.
You didn't get it before that?
Mr. Wright.
Yes?
My contract with my client is over as of now. I seem to have a new job on my hands. I will now return to you your precious item.
What the? I'm not an item!
Maya, I thought I'd never see you again. Oh, thank goodness.
This trial appears to have come to its conclusion. However, I am sort of... I don't quite know what just happened there with the client and the witness out. Miss Von Karma, where does that...
She always has you in her sights. Now, I do believe it's time to finally hand down a verdict.
I don't feel like we managed to specify that the client was in fact that guy. We didn't, say that. Mr. On Guard. Looks like somehow you got what you wanted. You will finally receive the acquittal you wanted so badly. You should be happy.
But before that, I would like to make one final statement. Sometime in the near future, one very betrayed assassin may appear before you. Needless to say, that man is very good at what he does. I'm sure you would understand what I mean if you watched this video.
Help me.
Now then, Your Honor, the verdict, if you please.
Is this alright with you, Mr. Wright?
We have finally reached the end of a very long battle. Whether he's convicted or acquitted, there's no escape for him now. Go on, Phoenix. Plead whichever way your heart tells you.
Right, Chief. Matt on guard. Even though I am a lawyer, I cannot make your crime disappear. I think a guilty verdict is appropriate here. Me, my wonderful self, get guilty. Even if you got an acquittal the instant you set foot outside the detention center, your life would be in danger. No matter which way you look at it, you can't run away from your crime anymore. No! Guilty. Oh. Goodness. As always, it looks like we have uncovered the real truth. We? I don't remember you helping out much in this. Mr. Edgeworth, how is Matt on guard?
I have left Miss Von Karma in charge of his incarceration.
I can speak. Hold on. Drink water.
I've left Miss Von Karma in charge of his incarceration. I'm sure he's getting a full course meal of whip leather right about now.
Very good. It was a close one, wasn't it, witness?
Yes. I plan to pay my debt to society for my own crime, Your Honor. The first time I was called to the witness stand during this trial, all I felt was despair. She must be talking about the time Edgeworth really went after her. I guess she's trying to forgive him for what he did. As witness, how should I put this? She has an illness. If you're going to say you would choose death, that is of no concern to me. But after that, when I was alone at the detention center, that's the first time I really saw myself for who I am. And today, when the two of you used your combined strength to convict Matt, I felt like I had finally been saved. Wow, this is the first time I've ever seen her smile. I am really happy you two were in charge of this case. I really don't know how to express how I feel at this moment. This is the first time I felt comfortable with myself, with who I am. Thank you so much, everyone.
It looks like we have resolved everything at last. As for myself, there are still a few things I'm confused about, but everyone seems to be in good spirits. And that is good enough for me. That is all. This court is adjourned. March 23rd, 5:14 p.m., District Court, Defendant Lobby number 3.
You were great out there, Phoenix.
What I did out there was right, wasn't it?
This is the first time you've not gotten your client off. You've gotten them a guilty verdict this time. But you have to look past all that to what's really important. You now realize that there is something more than just getting a not guilty, right?
Yes, I understand now.
Phoenix, think back for a second. Think to the moments before Miss Von Karma arrived with the final pieces of evidence. Think about the incredible decision you had to make.
Now then, Mr. Wright, let's hear the defense's final statements on this matter.
I can't count on the evidence to help me anymore. I have to listen to my heart. Should I side with justice, or should I save Maya's life?
My client, Matt on guard, is
Is he guilty, or is he not guilty? Those were your choices then, and your answer. Your answer spoke to what being a lawyer means to you. Right.
Edgeworth.
I have good news. Maya is now safe in police custody.
Really? Pearls, you're telling us the truth, right, Mr. Edgeworth?
Yes, she's quite safe. She's on her way here as we speak in a patrol car.
Mystic Maya's safe. You did it. You really did it, Mr. Nick.
Ow, she punches deceptively hard for a kid.
I believed in you. I kept saying to myself, Mr. Nick will save her. Mr. Nick will save her.
Thanks.
Oh,
What's wrong?
Miss Von Karma.
About earlier, thanks. Ow!
Why are you still smiling, Mr. Phoenix Wright? You lost. Your perfect win record has now been crushed. And yet, you are still happy?
I don't think you'll ever understand, Miss Von Karma.
How dare you? Don't worry. She may in time. After all, I was like that myself until a year ago.
Edgeworth?
For my own personal victories and for guilty verdicts. I used every dirty trick in the book, and so my win record remained spotless. But a man appeared and stood fast against that selfish me. I fought him in my usual manner and tasted my first defeat. I felt like I had lost everything because of that. And then it was my turn to sit in the defendant's chair. And I was saved by that person I called my enemy. I couldn't forgive myself for all that had happened, so I left the prosecutor's office. And I left that note. Prosecutor Miles Edgeworth chooses death. As well you should have. Prosecutor has shamed himself with defeat should crawl into a hole and die. But that was not what happened. After I left the prosecutor's office, I finally came to realize something. And it was in that moment of clarity that everything began to change. What foolish nonsense! We prosecutors use anything we can to attack the defendant. But every time we did so, no matter how desperate the situation, instead of giving up like most people, that man would hold strong with his undying faith. And then, before I knew it, I began to trust in that man as well. What? You trusted your enemy? It doesn't matter how many underhanded tricks a person uses. The truth will always find a way to make itself known. The only thing we can do is fight with the knowledge we hold in everything we have, erasing the paradoxes one by one. It's never easy. We claw and scratch for every inch, but we will always eventually reach that one single truth. This I promise you.
The truth.
Yes, that's the reason why prosecutors and defense attorneys exist. But I'm sure you knew that already, didn't you, Wright? That's why you couldn't forgive me. This man went into hiding. Isn't that right? This man who only had his sights set on victory, who ran away into the night.
Is Mr. Edgeworth right, Mr. Nick?
You really let me down. When you disappeared, I felt betrayed. The reason I decided to become a lawyer to begin with was because I believed in the things you said to me all those years ago. And you betrayed your own words. That's why 1 year ago, I made up my mind. I decided that the Miles Edgeworth I knew had died. At least that's what I told myself. You pathetic fool!
Miss Von Karma?
I don't want to hear the wretched whimpering of a disgraced loser. A Von Karma is someone who is destined to be perfect. Miles Edgeworth, you are no longer worthy. You are no longer worthy of being a Von Karma. I'm not sure he'd want to be, given the everything. And neither am I. It's over. It's all over. Franziska threw something on the ground just now. This is an electromagnetic receiver. Isn't that the thing she used to track Detective Gumshoe? I'll return this to the precinct later. There's something else.
Ah, isn't that Miss Von Karma's whip?
I'll never set foot in another courtroom again. I'm sure that's what she's saying by this action. You should keep this, Wright. Okay.
Nick!
Maya!
Mystic Maya! Mystic Maya! Yeah. Oh, Nick, I knew you would come through. You got on guard convicted, like I knew you would. And on top of that, you even rescued me.
Well, of course I did. You know I would never desert you. But we sure pressed our luck this trial. You're really lucky to be standing here.
Whatever. Look, it's over, okay? Besides, if I did croak, I would just come back and haunt you like a bad ghost through Pearly.
Is it really that easy to do something like that?
Thanks a lot, Nick.
Don't mention it. Maya.
Oh, Mr. Edgeworth.
I'm relieved you're alright.
Hey, it looks like you made some real progress, Mr. Edgeworth.
Well, I suppose I'm a little different from who I was a year ago. They didn't feed you at the police station?
Alright. I think it's time we got out of this depressing place.
Huh? Where are we going?
Food, Nick, food! Grub, chow, I'm starved. I'm so hungry even you look like a nice juicy burger on a bun to me, Nick.
You think I look like a burger? I'm a prime rib, at least.
Come with us, Mr. Edgeworth, please.
If you insist.
Alright, so how about we hit up our usual burger joint?
Oh, I think that might have been Phoenix. Alright, so how about we hit up our usual burger joint?
Don't be silly, Nick.
Huh?
This case messed up that awesome evening and got in the way of my gourmet food. So I've decided we have to make it up by having another feast.
Another feast?
Come on, Nick, food!
March 23rd, 7:38 p.m., Gatewater Hotel, hotel lobby. Oh.
Hey, pal. Sorry to keep you guys waiting.
Gumshoe, are you alright?
Yeah, but I'm really embarrassed. I didn't think I would hit a telephone pole of all things.
You must have been really off the road. A telephone pole? And it wasn't a red light that got him?
You did it again, city boy.
I felt like my dear old heart was gonna give out. Was gonna give out on me. And I ain't joking.
Yeah, it was more exciting than the last episode with the Steel Samurai. Did they properly end it? The guy playing the villain kind of died. I guess it was a costume, though. They could have gotten someone else in, but... I sort of figured it would just have stopped after the last bit they recorded or something. Just very sudden cancellation. Don't worry about it, children. And again, children don't always notice when actors are replaced, so it's probably fine. Very last episode of Steel Samurai. Thanks.
Now looky here, Mr. Snooty Prosecutor. Don't you reckon you bullied Mr. Wright too hard? If we don't start being a lot nicer to him, he might just kick it. Tonight, even.
I'll keep that in mind.
Well, come on now. Everyone gather around. Y'all are gonna get your picture taken by a genuine... Y'all are gonna get your picture taken by a genuine professional photographer.
Looks like Lotta bought herself a new camera. They didn't just give back the old one once the case was over.
Well, pal, at least we can put this messy case behind us now. Come on. Tonight's all about eating, so let's go chow down, pal. Amen to that, pal. Amen. How do people say that?
No, when you think about it, you were the one who saved the day, Detective.
Huh? Me? You really think so?
He's right. If it wasn't for the 3 items you took, I think this trial would have had a very different ending.
Well, you know, it's... Wait. That's odd. When I ran off with the things from the killer's hideout, I'm sure I took 4 things in total, sir. What? 4? Yeah, I'm sure I put one of the items in my coat pocket.
There was a 4th item?
Oh, come on, y'all. It's over. Oh boy, I tell ya. You really are something else. Between getting accused of murder and getting kidnapped, never a dull moment with you, huh? You think?
Why does she look so happy about that?
But being shut away for 2 whole days, weren't you scared? Yeah, it was really scary. I felt so hopeless. So, to keep my mind off of things, I drew a picture. Sounds like you had it rough, gal. So, where's this picture? So where's this picture of yours? Yeah, I want to see it. I want to see Mystic Maya's picture. You know, I don't know where it went. Aw, that's too bad. Well, it's alright. It wasn't anything important anyway.
It sure is nice to finally see them both smiling again. What is it, Edgeworth? This thing is picking something up.
Ah, that's Miss Von Karma's receiver. Thanks to her, I had the most awful experience of my life, sir. Can't believe she stuck a tracking device on me.
That's odd. Even though you're standing right here, the tracking device seems to be in a different location. Probably on his coat, then.
Oh, it's probably busted or something, sir.
Well, it doesn't matter. I'm afraid it's about time for me to excuse myself. I still have some work to do.
Huh? But Mr. Edgeworth, you haven't even eaten anything yet.
You've eaten way too much, you glutton. I had fun tonight. Now if you'll excuse me. Wait. What? I just want to say thanks, Edgeworth. You really saved me out there. If anyone should be saying thanks, it should be me, right? I feel like words alone aren't enough here. Wonder if there's anything I could give him to express how I feel.
Most of this is about the murder. I don't think you want this. Hush. I don't think you want that. He had a statue of the Steel Samurai in his office at one time, but I don't know if you care about that guy. I'm bad at showing people things at the end. What's this? It's my way of saying thanks. I see. Well, it's the thought that counts. I guess I'm not very good at this showing my appreciation thing. You don't need to thank me. I was only doing my job.
Hey, it looks like Mr. Edgeworth has left, Mr. Nick. Hey, Mystic Maya. Yes, Pearly? I guess you two can go back to being lovey-dovey, right? You and Mr. Nick, I mean. Pearly, would you cut it out already? You're embarrassing me.
Anyway. So who's paying for this lovely dinner party?
As if you need to ask. Everyone say thank you to Nick.
Huh? Yeah, I'm kinda at the point where I can't even buy instant noodles, pal. So I kinda already put your name on the bill. Yeah, I got me a situation just like that myself. There's a scammer shop in this hotel, see? And I just bought myself this good old beauty here. It better be anyhow. It better be anyhow. For $3,000. Actually, I reckon you bought it for me since it's on your tab and all.
Isn't this great, Mr. Nick? Yeah, Nick.
Why do I suddenly feel like screaming? Oh, you don't need to hold back it now, you hear? Yeah, pal. Time to let it all out.
This is the first time I can hear... This is going to be the first time I hear the real you. Go on. It's been a while since I've heard you say it. I've been busy being a hostage and all.
Alright then, if you say so. Yay. Wonder if this is going to have an extra episode, like, oh, wait.
You really came through for me, Nick. I had to hide that letter, but I knew you'd find it. I really feel like I've been living on the edge lately. I mean, I've escaped death 3 times now. Pretty cool, huh? I feel like a pro.
The first game had that extra 5th episode with, Emma and sister.
I'm so happy that you could save Mystic Maya, Mr. Nick. I'm so happy for the two of you. Speaking of which, I think this hotel is a popular place for honeymooners. So I sort of made reservations for the two of you, just in case.
Why would they let like, how old is she? 8? She can't do that. Well, pal. Looks like I'm back on the force again. Mr. Edgeworth had a long talk with the chief and he got me reinstated for my sake. I heard he said things like, letting that one go is bad for all of society.
I knew it. Crashing headlong into everything is the only way to live, pal.
I didn't get to drink much of my lemonade. I don't remember what you sounded like.
I'm Maggie Bird. I'm retiring this uniform as of today, sir. Going to be a waitress from now on, and bring smiles and joy to people who come by the restaurant, sir. And I hope you'll stop by sometime, Mr. Wright.
I don't remember what voice I gave her. Oh no, you're gonna bring in all the clowns. The one clown and then other circus people. The clown was annoying. You're worse, actually. Yes, sir, you're to visit a present patient. Dr. Hottie. Oh, recently, yes, the girl, I haven't seen her around. Yes. But I remember, if I even laid so much of an eye on her, crack. It didn't matter if I got whipped, though. Yes, ho ho ho. Yeah, I figured they were. I just wasn't sure if they added them to all the games or if it was just the first one for some reason. It's time to begin our quest of world domination, sweetie. And to let the world know we are serious, I plan to make a fabulous fight to Zimbabwe.
Hey, Max, what do you think Zimbabwe is like? Do you think their castles made of cake and bunnies who can talk?
Goodness, they're going too quick. Think that there are any talking bunnies? Even they won't laugh at most jokes.
I'm ready. There's no way these jokes are gonna fall on deaf ears. I'm going to be more contemporary with my humor. Mo Curls, represent. We've got our new act all worked out. Prepare for the Hallelujah chorus. Say something, will you? You're supposed to start this off. Get on with it.
Okay. Circus people were annoying, I'll be honest. I forgot about the Puppet Man entirely, but he's also annoying.
What's this? Brat, it's just an ordinary electric razor recharging. Can't believe this, really. How long do they plan on making me do this? But it's Edgy Poo's idea, so that must mean it has a deep hidden meaning. But why do I get the feeling they wouldn't forget about me, would they? I was never like this in the old days. Everyone thought the world of me. They used to call me Queen Wendy and treat me like royalty. Anyone who hasn't heard about the pain of my heel and speaking of burn, playing with fire and warehouses, just burning them down, I guess. Stretch my arms.
I appreciate everything you and Mr. Edgeworth did for me from the bottom of my heart. That's right, I received a letter from Miss Von Karma. She said after I got out I should feel free to consult her about anything at all. I'm really thankful to have met everyone.
Let's see. It's become difficult for me in this country as of late. As such, I will take a short leave of absence. If you would like to request my services, please be sure to visit my homepage. May we both be blessed with longevity. Okay. So that guy's just still out there. They didn't manage to get him or anything. Oh well. March 23rd, 9:42 p.m. International Departures, Gate 12. Where are you going, Franziska? How did you know I was here? With this. That's... I heard you were planting things on a certain person. Things like tracking devices in his coat, for example. That's just like you. I only planted it there because he was always wearing it. This filthy drab coat of his. I don't know how it ended up in my luggage. But it's going in the trash, I promise you that. Oh, that's right. Speaking of that man.
He told me something very interesting.
When I ran off with the things from the killer's hideout, I'm sure I took 4 things in total, sir.
4 things. It seems he put the last one in his coat pocket. He put it in here. It doesn't matter anymore. The case is already over.
I mean, presumably you want to catch the assassin himself at some point. That'd be helpful.
What are you going to do now? That's none of your business. Are you running away? Shut up. You don't understand a thing. You can't possibly understand what it means to be Manfred von Karma's daughter. Franziska. So many expectations from everyone around me. Expectations I must fulfill. I'm expected to win no matter what. And failure, such a thing is not an option for me. My father was a genius, there's no doubt about that. But with me, I'm no genius. I've always known that. But I had to be one. I had to. You may not be a genius like your father, but you are a prosecutor. You have been and always will be. No, I'm not. Not anymore. I've even thrown my whip away.
Right. Oh, we did want that back. Oops.
You were supposed to give me the whip.
Oops.
Oh no, you gave it to me. You said I should keep it.
You haven't changed a bit. You've always left me alone and walked on ahead. You've always left me alone and walked on ahead without me. Miles Edgeworth, I've always hated you. And then, finally, my chance to take revenge when you arrived. If I could win against that man, if I could make Phoenix Wright bow down in defeat, this girl you left behind would have risen higher than you. That was supposed to be my revenge. I see. You know, I can't do it. I can't change who I am. I can't throw away everything I've been until today. I believe you can, just like how Adrian Andrews did. Adrian Andrews? You were going to use her during the trial, right? But you were dependent on your father by using his tactics. Isn't that right? Today you chased after me after I left you behind all these years. And that's why we're standing here now, side by side. But I have no intention of stopping. If you say you are going to quit your walk down the prosecutor's path, then this is where we part ways, Franziska von Karma.
Oh.
I am Franziska von Karma. Don't think I'm going to walk in your shadow forever. Our battle begins now, so you'd better prepare yourself, Miles Edgeworth. Phoenix Wright. One day, someday, I'm sure we'll meet again in battle. Until then, this last piece of evidence that never made it to you. I'll take good care of this 4th piece, so I can give it to you when at last we meet again.
Cute. Yay. Okay, so that one doesn't have an extra chapter. Okay. Well, that would be the next game, and I'm not starting the next game in the middle of a stream. That wouldn't be good. Let's see. I suppose that means I should just stop here. Do I have anything else I need to cover? I think... hold on, let me pull something up real quick. Because I'll be continuing on with the next game next time, I suppose. But... I have a general concept of what I'm doing for the future streams, because I also wanted to play through the Professor Layton games, because they've got that one crossover game on the 3DS. Once I figure out 3DS emulation, I'll have to sort that out, but that won't be for a bit. There's at least like 3 or 4 games on the DS for Professor Layton before we get there, so that's plenty of time. But I have a list of things. Oh, there it is. Is that legible like that? Maybe I should zoom it in. I just kind of have this thing to capture the snipping tool, because I figured that'd be the easiest way to do it. There. So if yeah, you can see the mouse. So the main games, I've got the Phoenix Wright games, and then after that I was looking at the release order of the Professor Layton games as well. And the Curious Village ended up coming out before Apollo Justice. But I think in order to keep things relatively on track, not completely interrupted, and since they don't meet up until like after Miracle Mask, which is the only game from the Phoenix Wright or from the Professor Layton series I've played through fully, they don't meet up until after that. I might do something of like switching between them, especially since Professor Layton games aren't quite as long according to the How Long to Beat site, which I don't know how much that's factoring in any sort of puzzle solving or just or whatever, but you know. So I was thinking maybe after I get through like the second chapter of this, I'll start this and like intermix them, perhaps. That might be that might be good. We'll see. Those are the main things I have planned. Other things I intend to get through are Rain Code. Just in general, I'll have to sort that out. The Detective Conan game, but I gotta read the King Daichi case files first. Oh, which reminds me, I do have my setup for the DS is coming along nicely. I've got it a little more detailed than this on my progress paint.net file, but it still needs a bit of work, just in a bit of detailing. I'm putting some, what's it called? Some, like, vines growing around the pole here. This corkboard is where the chat shows up. And I have a setup that I can switch between the top and bottom screens for the big and small portions in case one is more important, like, at some point. Don't have a setup for if they're both equally important. Didn't think about that part. Figure that out some other time. Yeah, I have many things. But I definitely have enough plans to be busy for a bit. So I shouldn't run out of things, at least, like I did when I was streaming Danganronpa. But yeah, next time I'll start up Trials and Tribulations, I suppose. And then sometime after Chapter 2 of it, I'll intermix Professor Layton. I've played a bit of the Curious Village, just because I wanted to play them, but I didn't get super far. Just enough to... Having been able to guess the main twist of it doesn't mean much, because I was able to guess the main twist of who the guy was in Miracle Mask, real early on. Basically, the moment, they mentioned the guy. And it's like, I see. That's just because it's very predictable, I suppose. Oh well. But yeah. So next time I'll start up Trials and Tribulations and we'll go on. I'll turn this off. Anything else I need to cover? No, not really. I should be back on Wednesday, hopefully. There's like some stuff going on that other people need to be awake for events that are happening. The events aren't happening here, but I'm not sure if they'll need to be in this room to do whatever. To prepare for leaving for events. But I should be back on Wednesday with the third game, I suppose. I'll have to make a new thing for the thumbnails for that, but that'll be fine. Yeah, that's it. Have a nice day. Goodbye.